Good evening and welcome to the March 5th, 2026 regular council meeting beginning at 7:30 p.m. Tonight we'll be led in prayer by Councilwoman Montgomery, and please remain standing for the pledge.
Please bow your heads. Lord, we thank you for this beautiful day that you've given us. Even though we've had a lot of rain, we had a lot of snow, and we've made it through it. And we always seem to by your hand. So, Lord, bless this council meeting tonight. Bless those that have leadership here, including myself. Help us to make the right decisions and to consciously give you the praise and the glory for everything that you do for us in this beautiful town and city. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Perry?
Here.
Vice Mayor Croucher?
Here.
Ms. Montgomery?
Here.
Mr. Prophet?
Here.
Mr. Nichols?
Here.
Mr. Rourke?
Here.
I would like to entertain a motion to excuse Councilwoman Butts from tonight's meeting.
So moved. Second.
Vice Mayor Croucher and Councilman Nichols. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Croucher?
Nay.
Mr. Nichols?
Yay.
Ms. Montgomery?
Nay.
Mr. Prophet?
Nay.
Mr. Rourke?
Nay.
Mayor Perry?
Yay. All right, we have no presentation, so we'll go on to approval of minutes. Number one are the minutes of the February 19th, 2026 regular council meeting. And number two are the minutes of the February 19th, 2026 council work session. Do we have any amendments to the minutes as presented? All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
We have Vice Mayor Croucher and Councilwoman Montgomery. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Croucher?
Yay.
Ms. Montgomery?
Yay.
Mr. Prophet?
Yay.
Mr. Nichols?
Yay.
Mr. Rourke?
Yay.
Mayor Perry?
Yay. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. The items of a routine or non-controversial nature that are expected to require no discussion or debate. Any council member may request removal of an item for separate consideration. Does anyone on council want to remove an item for separate consideration? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion that we accept the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Vice Mayor Croucher and Councilman Rourke. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Croucher?
Yay.
Mr. Rourke?
Yay.
Ms. Montgomery?
Yay.
Mr. Prophet?
Yay.
Mr. Nichols?
Yay.
Mayor Perry?
Yay. We have no correspondence, so we'll go on to audience of public. If you would like to address council, please step up to the podium, state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Angie Markham. I live at 600 South First Street. Thank you, council, mayor, staff, for being here and giving us a chance to speak this evening. I wanted to start with the discussion that just happened in the work session to potentially limit comment and connect it back to what I spoke about at the last city council meeting and the need for us as a city to have a better way to solicit opinions from a diverse group of residents. I know that you guys talked about last time how you do a lot of time talking with people at Todd's, at the Moose Lodge, your neighbors, at the small business meetings, and all of the things that go on here. But as I mentioned the last time, there are people in this community who are residents. Their opinion matters just as much as every other person that aren't at any of those things. So if we are looking at moving towards either restricting the time that people can speak at council meetings or possibly taking away the public comment section altogether, I would just again reiterate the need for there to be some place for people to put in that information, as well as the council actively seeking that out. We've talked about at the council meetings right after the news broke on the data center that Mayor Perry, I believe you said, you kind of knew that this was possibly going to be an unpopular decision, but then no one came to the meetings to speak out about it. I just don't think we need to be making decisions, especially ones this large, with virtually zero input, 0% of the population giving input. I've gone back and looked through meeting minutes from September, October, around that time when I believe you guys were discussing it in 2024. And, we've been told we should have been there at that time if we wanted to object to this. But there's also no comments for it on there. If you look at the audience of public from those meetings, there's no for, there's no against it, which tells me that the only public record that we have of people giving an opinion on this are the 7 people on council that voted for it. And I just think we need more feedback, more insight from the residents actively seeking it out. Us as a council, us as a city, going out and seeking out that information. So since we were talking about limiting comment, I just wanted to connect that back and kind of bring that together, that, I think we need to do a better job of going out and getting diverse opinions, statistically relevant sample sizes, all of those sorts of things, not on every single thing that we're doing, but on big things like the data center. We need that, because then a lot of these discussions wouldn't even be happening, because you guys could literally point to, here is our statistically relevant sample size that shows this is why we went the way we went. The other thing that I wanted to ask about this evening, since the last city council meeting, we learned that there was an NDA signed relating to the Prologis project. It was brought up Monday night at the informational meeting with Prologis, and basically the information that we got from Prologis was that was sent in error, that it was done afterwards. I believe the signature date was October of 2025, a year after it became public knowledge and a month after the sale was done. The gentleman from Prologis said we were just checking boxes. Somebody was going down a checklist and said, oh, we don't have an NDA, sent it here, and it got signed. My question is, why did we sign it? Why did you, Mr. Nichols, and our lawyer, Mr. Ziffel, sign that if it was all public at that point?
So I can say this to Mr. Nichols. Every business that talks to the city, period, usually signs or sends an NDA to Mr. Nichols. That's every business will do that.
I don't want to say every.
Okay.
I don't want to say every, but a lot of conversations typically involve agreements of that nature. And from my perspective, it's a part of the process, and for me, timing is irrelevant. It is simply signing it as part of a process.
But if it's already public, I just don't understand why we would do that.
The NDA cannot trump or override Ohio law, the Meetings Act, or Public Records Act. So it's largely irrelevant to public construction projects or any type of development. Though, like you mentioned, there's certain developers who are used to private organizations, and that's one of their kind of check the boxes, like you said. So why spend the time to go through it when it doesn't change any aspect of Ohio law as to how it applies to this scenario?
So then why not send it back to Prologis and say, this is already public, it's past the time we would have considered signing this, it's irrelevant, we're not going to sign it?
Yes.
If it's irrelevant, what's the difference?
Well, because
You're
if
saying yourself it's irrelevant.
no,
So
I
what's
didn't
the
say it was
difference?
irrelevant. I'm quoting
You just
Mr.
did.
Ziffel. I'm quoting Mr. Ziffel.
I'm telling you what the law is.
Right.
That is, it's absolutely irrelevant.
Here's the reason I'm asking. You guys have been telling us for months now to trust you and to trust that you have our best interests in heart. If there was ever a time that it was going to be easy to push back on Prologis and say, this is not something that needs to happen, or this isn't something we're comfortable doing, an NDA after everything is disclosed would be the easiest time to say, no, this doesn't make any sense. So if we weren't willing to do that in that very simple situation, how are we supposed to have faith that we're going to push back when it is actually difficult? And when we are trying to do something that is for the benefit of residents that maybe Prologis doesn't want to do?
Just to specify, the staff, the NDA that Mr. Nichols signed covers him, correct?
Yeah, it doesn't cover council.
It covers him. It doesn't cover council, and neither have we ever had one sent to us or anything else. So just to specify that, it just took care of Mr. Nichols.
Starting in October of 2025 after everything was disclosed. I just don't understand why we didn't stop and say this doesn't make any sense.
Honestly, it doesn't make any sense to me either, because there was nothing that wasn't disclosed after that date anyway.
Right. So
There
that's what I would like to see examples that we're willing to stand up and say, we're thinking about this. We're pushing back when it doesn't make sense. We're pushing back when it's not in the best interest of the residents. And again, I understand, I hear what everybody's saying, that an NDA is basically irrelevant in this situation. Even Prologis said that. So why did we just go ahead and sign it? I just would like to see more thinking on our own.
Right. Well, we are pushing back. We had the meeting on the 9th, correct? Planning the...
That is, the planning commission meeting is scheduled for March 16th.
Oh, okay. We pushed the meeting back from the 9th
Correct.
to the 16th. Yeah, it was originally the 9th because further back and forth was happening.
I'm glad to hear that. I did see, since you brought it up, I saw that the agenda was updated today to include that March 16th meeting, and it was listed as a civil review. How is that different from a regular planning commission meeting?
I don't know the difference between it. It's the same civil site plan review.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is what we do for Dunkin' Donuts and other commercial and industrial developments, is a civil site plan review.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, Council. Thanks for letting me speak. My name is Amy Humbert. I live at 701 Brailsford. And just kind of want to address, after the Prologis meeting, I actually, I've been kind of this way with the whole project, but after the Prologis meeting, I kind of got more angry, I guess, about the whole thing. I just felt like they kind of looked at us like, it doesn't matter what you say. Yeah, you're misinformed, which I took as uneducated. I've kind of pride myself on getting educated by asking questions and doing all that. So it's just kind of made me feel bad. Also was mentioned about Mr. Nichols, I think in the roundtable you had mentioned about the water, that our water is not going to go anywhere, that we have abundance of water. I actually have some articles from NASA and the National Institute of Health that kind of talks about how our water is depleting, and that if we constantly are drawing from it and adding to those companies that pull from it, we're just going to keep decreasing it. So it is a concern that we should be worried about.
That's funny because I Googled it, that same information, and the information I found said that the amount of water on Earth has not changed in 1 million years.
Well,
So you can find information either way.
true, but I would take NASA's. I'm just saying, we always go back to the fact with water use too, that Molson Coors uses 100 times more. I guess I always take it as that's kind of not the point. The point is if Molson uses 100 million gallons and then Prologis uses 15 million, and we add another 2 data centers that are pulling another 30 and then another 40, and then the next city over is pulling another 80 and 90, eventually it will be depleted. So the concern is that we should be concerned about the amount of industrial businesses being brought in and pulling from all of our aquifers, not just ours, but around everywhere. I think as a United States, we do need to look at that, because our natural resources are not ever, never ending. They will eventually end. Maybe not in our lifetime, but they will. So I think just as a whole. Also, my one thing I wanted to note, Mayor, or right, Mr. Perry, you said that there was about 80 or 90 jobs. Perlo just said 140, which I was happy about. I'm hoping there's 140. But I would like to know if, when those jobs are brought up, if there could be a breakdown of what those jobs are and given that to the community so that we are aware that those are actual jobs that are in the buildings or whatever.
Yeah, those are, so what they said those would be their jobs hired by them. So I do believe the security and things like that are outside agencies, if I'm
I just
correct.
think
But yes, those will be either their jobs or their clients' jobs.
I just think it would be helpful to know that
No.
there are that many jobs in that site, since it's taking up, 1 million square feet. I'd also like to know what the disinfectants and descaling agents that they're going to be using in the waters to treat this. That they said they don't put chemicals in, but then they said they use disinfectants and descaling. I would like to know that personally, just so that I could do some research on those names. Once it's up and going, I would like to have that information. Studies were done on the roads, from what I understood, about, was it just traffic studies or were they actually road studies? Because I was under the impression that when you said that road studies were done on Kennel Road to see if it could handle the traffic for the projects, and then all of a sudden Kennel Road breaks down, it's like, who did the study, and was that what they were checking, if the road could handle that traffic, or if it was, you know what I mean, that's where, was it just the traffic that they were looking at?
No,
It is traffic counts.
That's all it was?
Yes.
It wasn't
That
if
is
the road could handle all of the equipment?
Correct. In
Okay.
developments, typically residential, commercial, industrial, it is traffic count.
Okay.
Because typically the municipality and the local jurisdiction handles those repairs.
Okay.
Let me specify to you on the Kennel Road is that happened on the area that isn't part of like the industrial build out that we did. So when Carvana moved in, we went ahead and redid Kennel and put it as a road to handle heavy truck traffic. The other side, after you get past Pearson, is still the original 1 lane in each direction, and I think you said, Brad, hasn't been repaved since 2005. Yeah, that's something that we need to look into, or reinstall those no truck signs, because I know Carvana and Shape and everybody else uses it anyway. I know that Martin Marietta uses it all the time. So that's something we need to specify is if you're going to drive a truck through there, you should probably go the other way until we upgrade.
That's why I was
No.
concerned. I was like, somebody did a study and then.
No, yeah.
Okay. And it was also mentioned that 800 construction workers were going to be coming in, and they've got a great lot for them to sit in. Are we really going to be able to handle 800 more cars daily within, this area? That's a lot of people. Thinking of that, if 800 people are driving in every day to come, that's really going to impact the city tremendously. So, if they said they did a study, did they do a study with those 800 cars added to that?
Yes.
They did?
My understanding, and I would have to defer to our planning and zoning, but typically with traffic impact studies, you look at you conduct traffic counts of existing and then what that looks like ongoing. However, as it relates to construction, I can't confirm that.
Okay. Because I just think that.
And to build off of that, for me, it is trying to get as many of those jobs captured within this area, within the city limits. So then there are residents here that are working on that.
Is there some way you could put that on the city website that, hey, we hired this? That would help the citizens, I think, maybe buy in a little bit more to this project, because it's a project that I don't think a lot of people are good with, but if you're saying, hey, we're hiring this many, and these are the people that you're not the names, but we hired 60% or 15% of the people from the community on this project. I think that would be very helpful, personally.
I think I'm rolling the dice saying this a little bit, but I will say that that's part of the negotiation.
Okay. Good.
Is that a percentage of workers that work on the site be local?
Excuse me, the one gentleman was here and spoke a couple times that's a representative from the electricians union, and he did state that a lot of his members live here in Trenton.
86.
That's good. So I'm going to go back to Mayor Perry. You said that you had actually been talking to about the property for about 4 years. But then Prologis said that they had approached you in 2024. So that didn't click with me that that was right. Maybe the land sold and you were considering, people coming in.
Yeah.
But what concerns me is that something of that magnitude, and a lot of contention wasn't really made more public. I know this is something we've gone, and that the citizen involvement really wasn't there. And, like Angie was saying, that it positive or negative. I would have liked to have seen both. I would have liked to have seen you guys said, hey, these are the pros that we see for our city. These are the cons we see for the city. I mean, we didn't even get that. We just got, hey, we really have this great thing's coming, and that's all we got. I just think that, it should be considered, and the public should be kind of brought into those as an option. So what I'm asking right now, if I could ask each individual councilman up there, that if another data center contractor approached you individually and asked to build another data center in Trenton, would you allow the citizens to vote on it, Mr. Prophet?
It'd be a case-by-case basis.
Ms. Montgomery?
Thank you, whoever said that.
That's not real easy. There's no legal precedent for putting that for a vote as far as.
Legal, I'm just saying, as a councilman, would you put it up for a vote? That's a personal thing for me.
She's done.
If you don't want to answer, just say you don't want to answer. That's fine. Okay. Mr. Croucher?
I'm not answering your question.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into that decision that sometimes you can't divulge at the time that it's happening. You have to think that where one thing is happening here, there's things happening all over the county as well that's dominoes for that decision. So if this, and I'm just saying, for instance, if it would be this project doesn't happen, well then this project, this one, and this one will just go right next door. And that's what you have to consider, and that's what we always have to consider. What else is going to happen if something else happens? So it's not always a decision that's based on one business. Like, for instance, if we're looking at, I'll throw this out there, if AK Steel wanted to relocate to Trenton, and I'm just throwing that out because there's not enough land whatsoever. But you have 20 other businesses that would benefit the city of Trenton greatly. But if you say no to this one, they're all just going to find somewhere that'll say yes to this one with the 20 support staff. So it's never as clear cut as one business because it's always, for instance, I think I can say this since McDonald's is here. So McDonald's comes. When we're thinking about McDonald's, we're not thinking about just McDonald's because McDonald's is one domino. But we know that if we sell to McDonald's, then in comes all their competition as well. We don't just have a McDonald's, we have a Wendy's, we have a Starbucks, we have all of these other foods come in, casual dining, because they have to compete in markets. They can't just let them go. But if we say no to McDonald's, pretty much we say no to 10 other businesses while we do that, and they go away overnight.
So
that's what I just want to.
I know.
I just wanted to say
specific.
there's always like this little picture that's seen, and then there's 20 other steps across there, and it's like, okay, well, these businesses want to give a lot of money to our schools, but if we say no to this one, they're like, okay, we'll go to Lakota, or we'll go to Madison, or we'll go to somewhere else, and the one no to a business that we don't like is detrimental to 100 other businesses. So that's why I'm saying I wish I would, to answer your question, I would say No, because I can't give you the full picture of what's happening besides that.
Well, I guess on the magnitude of the data center, right? So you have this massive thing that's going to, and that's what I'm saying. Something that looks like it might affect a lot of the city and local people and residents right next to it. That's kind of where I was coming from. Like, if you know that it could affect a huge amount of people in the community, wouldn't that be a consideration to put it up, or to at least get more input before a decision was made? I guess that's kind of
I would say more input, yes.
Okay.
But I would say, as far as like the voting, I couldn't in my clear conscience vote on something of that magnitude, but then not vote something one step down. I mean, we can't make a difference between for business to business case. So it can't be that we let this business comes in because we don't deem it big enough to have a public vote. But then when this business comes in, yeah, we're going to put it in front of the public.
So then let's just figure back to at least have more input from
Yes.
citizens.
No, I would.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I would
I'll
go
leave
with
it at that. I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I'm Steve Wallace. I live at 403 East Page Avenue. What I want to bring to light, and I think it's been overlooked pretty heavily, I'm referring to the Ascentec, the Prologis acoustical design evaluation. After Monday's meeting, I've been looking at this computer model that they're using for measuring or modeling the acoustics that's coming off this data center. And one thing I find kind of alarming is they're not, with our model, they include a lot of things in here, but they're not including the generators. And what I find kind of funny on Monday, and it's not really funny, it's actually pretty scary when it comes to this project, is that he originally stated in the meeting that he couldn't quote how many generators it was going to take, but then towards the end, he said it was going to be a 250 megawatt facility. Well, if you do basic math, that's around about 76 95 liter engines. Do you know how big a 95 liter engine is? Because I'm in the diesel industry and I know exactly how big it is. It's probably as big as your truck or longer. And that engine, if you're just running it for an hour, 1 hour at full throttle, that thing can consume 175 gallons of fuel just in 1 hour. And it's going to take 76 of those? Can you imagine? And I did the math on it. Just if you're running it, say, 1 hour, what was it, 1 hour and say 1 hour, and you do that, say, for 52 weeks, well, that's around about 1 million gallons a year of fuel that's going to be burnt just to run it for an hour to make sure they're running correctly. Well, with that being said, where I haven't seen anything on the plans, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, I hope you do correct me, is that on the plans, I don't show any kind of storage tank for diesel fuel. How are they getting the diesel into this facility for these massive these massive 95 liter generators?
They're stored in the containment pod with the generator. So all of them have acoustic, when we toured one, all of them have acoustics around the generator with the fuel inside of that.
I know, I work for a diesel company, so.
Yeah. Oh, it was rhetorical.
Yeah, I know, but that's, so even if you just have the fuel stored around in the area of the actual generator, that's, like I said, it's around 76 generators it's gonna be running. That's like, what was that, I calculated it's gonna be like 130, because an average fuel tanker holds around 9,000 gallons of fuel. That's 113 trucks per year that's gonna come in and out of that facility to fuel up those generators. So, food for thought. It's a lot of traffic, a lot of fuel. And I just find it kind of alarming on the acoustics because their data that they present is way off. There's no way that this, I don't know how they come up with this model because they don't even include the generators in this model at all. So I think you might need to ask them, where is the generators, the noise levels coming from the engines? Because just at 3 feet from a 95 liter engine, I think it's like between 100 and 120 decibels. And then at 1,000 feet, it's 71.2 decibels, dBAs at 1,000 feet. So they need to, you guys need to ask more questions when it comes to this noise survey.
Mr. Nichols, the noise, regardless of generators running or not, they have to fit within noise ordinances at their property line, correct?
That is correct.
So,
And just to kind of elaborate on that, this is zoned industrial general, the heaviest industrial zone that we have, so the range is more on the higher end.
Yeah, well, okay, but did you guys even pay attention to the map? They look like they drew with a crayon. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Yes, there are internal conversations that happen between staff and their folks, yeah.
Yeah, okay, because, all right, I'm just telling, my background is in electrical engineering, so I know what I'm talking about, so. And their plans don't make sense. Thank you.
thank you. Anyone else?
Dale Perry, 839 Autumn Court. Just a few things I'd like to bring up. Mr. Croucher, I know we've talked before, and I talked about 7 or 8 people today drinking coffee all over the town. They agree with you. It's time to put an end to the horse and pony show. That I checked into it myself, as Mr. Hans accused me of. I like to find out things yourself. I like to see black and white. Well, after checking into this a little bit on time and everything else, I got a hold of a police officer that used to handle Liberty Township, who's the great McCall that had all these people staying up at the convention or whatever you want to call that out there. What's funny about all this is Liberty Township, you have to be there 10 minutes early. You have to sign up. You have to show your driver's license to be able to speak. You've got 4, sometimes 5 minutes. Hamilton's got it. Middletown's got it. It's time to put an end to all this. Trenton residents should be allowed to speak.
Yes.
Should be, make sure you're from Trenton, and there should be a time limit put on this. I truly believe that. I think they should have a right to speak, but yeah, let's keep it under. To put you guys in a position, say, would you vote on this or would you not? Totally, I'm sorry, hypothetically, are you going to do that? Yeah, it's kind of hard to come across on anything. What was I asking for? Oh, the second thing I'd like to bring up, once again, I brought it up before, is I understand the group, Barry, especially you, you're the leader. Have you reached out? I understand you not asking council, what did you see? What did you hear? Anything at all? And you do. I wish you would reach out. You did reach out to the chief. The second thing I'd like to ask, I can understand you not trusting the chief. Ms. Markham, you the same way. I understand that. You not trusting council. You not trusting the city manager. Marcus, Nick, I understand that. But when it comes to saving your life, who do you call? The Life Squad Fire Department. If you're getting broke into, who you call? You call the police department. You depend on them for your life, but you won't ask them what they saw, what they heard, what they seen. Any of you? I call that totally ridiculous. Listen to him. Coffee with a cop. He's already invited you. Be up there. Listen to him. Reach out to him. Touch him. Yeah, go ahead, touch them. Do what?
We have jobs.
They've got phone numbers. You can call here for any time. Any time you can call here. You can talk to them. They make themselves available. The mayor has actually handed out his telephone number. Have any of you guys been approached? Anybody? Exactly.
I've gotten 4 calls, maybe.
I'd like to say one thing. The lady that did reach out to Mrs. Montgomery, I give her kudos for that. Great job. Way to reach out. I'm glad you did that. Are you the neighbor for it?
That's Mrs.
Because you said you didn't give that address.
Yes, I
Did
did.
you?
Yes, she did.
Oh, yeah, okay. I missed that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Another thing, Barry, on December, the first meeting, I'm calling you out on this. You came to this council and you told this council that was there at that time, and another councilman was off, that the aquifer was down 30%. I called the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. I called Miami Conservancy. I called EPA. The guy from EPA laughed. He said, we oversee the wells that goes into that aquifer. Do you really think that we would let more wells go into that aquifer if it's down 30%? He said, I don't know where that came from. And I said, a gentleman that was telling us came to council and told us. He said, absolutely not true. I was given figures today over the rainfall that's happened over the weekend. Do you know 5 square miles, is what I was told, 4 inches of rain that covers Trenton is more water than this town uses in a year. In a year. Those are big. Someone that's pretty smart with figures. Okay. But we're going dry, remember? No, we're not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And to all the people that stood up, I just want you to know one thing. The guy from Liberty Township, to me, he should have never been allowed to talk. He has nothing to do with this. He stood up and had all of you stand up for one reason, and I don't like the reason why. He played it as a political game. He's running as a Democrat for state rep, and he had you stand up, took a picture of it, put it on his Facebook page, and guess what? He played a game with you. He does not even have no data sign in his yard. Like Mr. Hahn said, I went and checked it, got pictures, took movies, the whole bit. He has nothing to do with that. So I just want you to know you were playing.
He's running for state rep in a different district as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank
He's
you.
running against Thomas Hall.
He's not even in your district.
Exactly. That's all I got to say.
But it was a legitimate question, though.
What's that?
It was a legitimate question.
No, it was not.
It wasn't a question.
All right, we're not going to go back and stop. We're not going to go back and forth.
I didn't say a word when you said something.
Mr. Perry, it's enough. Next.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the forum an information gathering session not to get public opinion?
It was an information session. It actually wasn't an official meeting put on by the city of Trenton. And that was one of the things where we all sat in different areas to make sure not more than 3 of us were in an area at one time.
Mayor, team, everybody. Barry Blankenship, South First Street, just below Mayor. Yes, I've contacted your son a couple of times by phone. He's been at work and I've been at work. We've talked several times.
Good for you. Thank you.
And to answer your question, I talked to Richard Klein at ODNR. He was the one that gave me those figures, as well as a well driller by the last name of Gator. So that's how I got my answer. So if they gave me false information, then that's on them. I was with the information that I had from what.
I'll talk to you afterward because I know.
Let's,
Have you ever asked the EPA?
let's, you guys can have that conversation after the meeting. Let's
But I was
just
just-
stay on, let's
I was
stay on
just-
topic
I
here.
was just clearing that up. I
Okay.
appreciate that. I do appreciate you talking with me what time we have talked.
Yep.
But the thing that got me with the meeting the other day was, it was kindly said that we don't have an end user, we're only building the building speculative. But someone somewhere that was sitting up close to y'all spoke out, we know the end user. So which one is telling us the truth? Is Prologis telling us the truth that the end user isn't known? Or is the person that spoke up in the crowd that we know the end user, who's telling us the truth? That's all I want to know.
Who spoke up in the crowd?
I couldn't tell who it was, but I know someone sitting up around y'all hollered out, we know the end user, and that's all I could see where I was sitting at.
Well, then if they're sitting around me, sir, I never heard that statement.
I never heard nothing like that either.
I wasn't there.
Good for them, because from my understanding, Prologis has not signed a contract with an end user.
I was just asking a question, that's all. I just wanted to hear it from y'all to where I knew what was going on, to where I had the answer, and that's all I was asking.
Well, that was a false statement.
All right, then I appreciate it, and I'll try to correct it if I can ever figure out who said it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Henley Kraus. I want to.
Excuse me for 1 second. Chief, could you please shut the door for us, please?
Ma'am, could you state your address and where you live, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. 4397 Stone Creek Drive. Oh, and then my name, Henley Kraus. I don't know if you guys heard that. So I just want to kind of talk briefly about the water issue. That's just kind of what I'm well versed in. I understand it a little bit, so I'd like to talk about that. So at the Prologis session on Monday, I also asked a question regarding like future proofing for water, right? So City of Trenton, we have the capacity for the data center. I completely understand that. I'm not saying that's the issue, right? It's not necessarily right now. We're not going to face water shortages right now. We have one of the best aquifers in the nation. We're super lucky. So I think we need to kind of understand that, you know, these data centers, even Prologis said, our area is such a great area to build these data centers because of our water capacity. That was one of the reasons they gave, I believe, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I got out of that session. So I think we now need to approach this and understand that we are kind of a target for these data centers, and it's more so if we're getting a bunch of these popping up everywhere, that's when the problem arises, right? Because when we look at it on a, like, one by one, each data center, it's like, oh, we clearly have the water for that. But as Amy even mentioned earlier, it's the future of it, right? So we're obviously involved in this whole policy process to, like, have a better future, right? That's the whole point. So I would like to point out, I feel like there's a little misunderstanding about, like, the water cycle in general, which I understand, like, water does cycle through our system. That's how it works. We have the same amount of water we've always had. But the thing is that it kind of gets situated in different areas. So, and I can provide you guys with the study because it probably does a better job explaining it than I do. But I have simplified it a little bit. So a study was done, the school sustainability in Arizona, and simplified. What they basically found was that from 2002 until this study was published in 2025, there have been areas across the world globally, right? This is not just a Trenton
scope, it's a global thing. There have been areas that have been drying. As these freshwater sources dry up, people start to depend more on groundwater. So then that in the long term leads to depletion of the groundwater source. So like I said, it's not right now, it's looking to the future. And then another point was when I brought up this issue to Prologis, they started, I was kind of confused in their answer. He started explaining to me how there is drought in the western United States and how they're already facing those issues. So it almost proved my point, I felt like, with what I believe his name was Brett had said. And we don't want that here, right? So we don't want to have to deal with the drought that the West is facing. We are so lucky where we're at because we have this great aquifer. And like I think someone mentioned, it rained like crazy the past few days. So it's not that we're always dry. Like in Ohio, it's climate change, right? So it's different for each area of the world, right? Areas that are wet get wetter, dry areas get drier, right? In Ohio, we see, I mean, you can look at this over the last like 5 years, compare our weather to when you were younger. It looks a whole lot different now, just like from firsthand experience than like years ago. But so we're still getting rain, but our summers are getting drier, they're getting hotter, and they're gonna continue on that course. So the weather impacts we've already seen, they're just going to continue in the same trend or get worse, right? So again, it's the future-proofing. It's an issue that Prologis doesn't have a future-proofing plan. They're not even considering like water use, what happens when our aquifer does start to drop. And when maybe farmers in Ohio, like, again, we're a state where we don't really have to use irrigation. We're one of, I think, 3 states in the United States that don't really rely on irrigation. But we're going to have to start because we're facing drier summers. So then what's going to happen when farmers who have never had to worry about this extra expense are competing against data centers? We're going to easily outcompete them. And it's like farmers feeding America. So I think it's easy to sit back and look at this and be like, oh, we have enough water. But I think we need to discuss the potential that one day we might not. It's really concerning when, Mr. Nichols, you said at an informal roundtable discussion, you like 4 quotes said water doesn't just disappear. And it disappears in areas, right? So like even from this article, they said it perfectly. The author said the disappearance of groundwater from the world's aquifers is a critical emerging threat to humanity and presents cascading risks that are rarely incorporated in environmental policy, management, and governance. So like I said, we don't see it now, but we have to start implementing it into our policy now because it's gonna be an issue. And that's just the science of it. Like I feel like sometimes that's being denied. And I think that's why I struggle to like trust everything here. Because if there's denial of like just loads of scientific evidence, then like, is this really in our best interests? Like, so I hope you kind of understand what I'm saying with that. I'm saying if, when this project goes into place, maybe we shift our minds and we start to think about those things and how we can make it as sustainable as possible. I know someone at the Prologis thing on Monday, someone asked Prologis, are you more concerned with protecting corporate America or the environment? They said both. We do it sustainably. I don't feel like they have sustainability as like their major thing that they're doing. So I just think maybe, I don't know the whole logistics of it, but like thinking about this for the future, because like as a 20-year-old, I think about this every day. It's my future. Like I hopefully have a long life ahead of me, but like these threats are real, and I just don't feel like it's even justified by some people. So, and I really don't mean to like be rude or anything. I'm just worried, like. Yeah. So that really is it. But I hope to kind of inform you guys that like our water sources are being depleted. We're very lucky where we're at, so we should protect this, right? We shouldn't just take advantage of it and take it for granted.
Okay, and I do want to say this. Thank you for the text you sent me and the articles you sent me. I haven't answered because I have like a whole...
No, that's fine.
Everything went through my head with that because, like you said with this, that goes into a lot deeper subject. But tomorrow I'll get back with you and I'd love to discuss the deeper...
Yeah, I also, I actually took the time to write up a whole nother thing,
Okay.
and to get more just information to try to like kind of, so what I did, and I can send you this as well, and you can kind of scratch the other one if you want, but, because this one makes, I think, just like easier in our context, so I kind of went in at a global level, kind of understanding the process, and then I kind of applied it to our specific area, because I think it's important to understand that. So I could send that along if you would like that, and it has the study and every other source that I used in this as well. So.
Okay, yes, please.
Okay, yeah, I will for sure.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Perry, if I may, I just wanted to note that very timely. Yesterday, staff received an email from OKI, Regional Council of Governments. OKI stands for Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana. They're partnering with Ohio EPA and DNR to facilitate a regional comprehensive water study across the entire state of Ohio, covering, says across the state, but then lower down it says in Southwest Ohio, they're looking at a 20-county area, and they have a survey for us to fill out as it relates to our water. So we are going to contribute to that study and be a part of that regional collaborative effort to get an understanding of water.
Thank you. That was awfully timely.
Yes.
Anyone else?
I am Carol Carter. I live at 2021 Wayne Madison Road. I am not in the city limits, but you're building across the street from me, basically. And was the traffic study only done on Kennel? Kennel's across the street.
Mr. Nichols?
Was it done on Wayne Madison? Was it done on the main street in Trenton?
I am not sure. I'd have to go back and go get on the website and look at the report.
Okay, before I retired in 2020, I knew I had to leave work to go to work before 10 after 5, or I could sit at the end of my driveway for 10 to 15 minutes waiting on traffic, because you live in the country, you want to go to Route 4, you go straight through town to Ingalls Corner, or you go by my house, Wayne Madison, to get to Route 4. And that's the only ways. And the traffic is horrendous. Once they opened the brewery, it just went totally out of sight. When that light turns red in Woodsdale, traffic is back all the way across the bridge and all the way past my house. I am the last house coming out of Woodsdale at the top of the hill next to the Baptist church. I have traffic. I can't even get out of my driveway because I have traffic sitting in front of it. So are they going to improve Wayne Madison? Are they going to make it 4-lane? There is constant wrecks in front of my house because they come flying up that hill. They can't see. And there's constant rear ending. There is constant wrecks. There's rarely a week goes by. My trees have been hit, and my trees are not close to the road.
No, they're not.
I've got one tree that it's a wonder it's even alive. It has been hit so many times. I had my mailbox taken out 7 times in 2 years because they come flying up through there or flying the other way to go down the hill because it's 45 in front of my house, it's 50, 55 in front of the brewery, that it's 35 once you start down that hill. Are they going to improve it? You're bringing in 800 people that's going to use that road to get to Kennel Road. What are you going to do for me I can't get out of the driveway without waiting. There's never been a time I've pulled straight out of my driveway since I moved there, and I've been there almost 14 years in June. It'll be 14 years. The traffic is horrendous. So are they going to not just make sure Kendall's all right, are they gonna make sure straight through town or Wayne Madison? Because that's what gets you to Kendall.
So does Woodsdale Road, ma'am.
Huh?
So does Woodsdale Road get you to Kennel as well?
Yes, it does. But Woodsdale Road is
And
not
that
a
is a
straight
county,
shoot
that is
from
a
Route
county
4.
road. That road is surfaced and done by the county. They scrape the snow off of it, they do everything right there. The county is the one who takes care of that road. Again, you need to go talk to your county engineer or your St. Clair Township trustees. We cannot control what happens in Woodsdale.
That you're bringing in all this excess that's going to be
We can't,
straight
the city of
through
Trenton
Woodsdale.
cannot fix that road. That is a county road.
Yeah, I know it's a county road. But the traffic you're bringing in is excessive, and it's already excessive traffic on that road, just to get to Trenton.
Well, Trenton Square is being developed also, ma'am, and there's like 486 homes that's going in there. So you're going to get more traffic from that too, because those houses are going to sell. As fast as they build the houses in Trenton, they're selling them.
I know they are.
Well, I've sit up here and heard that everybody in Trenton's moving out.
We're
Well, I wouldn't blame them.
let's rein this in.
You don't
let's
live in
rein
Trenton.
let's rein this in.
We have
But
plans,
did they do any kind of study on Wayne Madison?
we have plans in the works now to widen the part of Wayne Madison that we're responsible for. That's all
In
we
front
can
of the
do.
brewery,
I'm sorry?
that area, the area by the brewery.
Just
Right.
a very small section down by the tracks and from the
Yeah.
roundabout to State Street. That's what we're responsible for, and we already have plans in the works to widen all that. Because we know it's a problem.
It
And
is
like
a
the other
major
members have said,
problem.
we can't control what the county does. That's the county engineer.
Before they opened, I lived in Woodsdale for 26 years before I moved up there. And I lived on Kennedy Road. I walked 3 miles every day up and down Wayne Madison and Woodsdale Road. Never any traffic until they opened the brewery. And then there was no more walking. It was just totally ridiculous. You couldn't. But something needs to be done. If you're gonna build all this and bring in all these jobs, then something needs to be done for us. So that we can get in and out of our houses and our driveways.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. We will move on to. We're on to unfinished business. Correct. I'm looking through.
We
here.
have
Am
no
I-
unfinished business.
What?
We're on to legislation.
Yeah, we have no unfinished business. We have no public hearings. We have no new business. So we'll move on to legislation. I will entertain a motion that we read item 1 under legislation by title only.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Nichols and Vice Mayor Croucher. Roll call, please.
Mr. Nichols?
Yay.
Vice Mayor Croucher?
Yay.
Ms. Montgomery?
Yay.
Mr. Profit?
Yay.
Mr. Rourke?
Yay.
Mayor Perry?
Yay. Mr. Ziffel.
Thank you, Mayor. I want an ordinance to accept, modify, or reject the final replat of the Arlington Park Center.
Thank you very much.
Mayor Perry, I would like to make a motion for public comment at meetings of council shall be conducted as the following procedures. 1, each individual addressing council during a public council comment shall be limited to 3 minutes per speaker, unless additional time is granted at the discretion of the presiding officer. 2, individuals wishing to address council must sign in at least 10 minutes prior to the start of the council meeting and provide their name and address. Number 3, public comments shall be limited to the residents of the city of Trenton, Ohio. Number 4, public comment should be provided for the purpose of allowing council to receive input from the citizens of Trenton, the public. Therefore, council members shall not engage in dialogue, debate, or respond to questions during the public comment period. This procedure shall take place effective immediately upon adoption and shall apply to all further council meetings unless amended by council. I would like to put that motion forward.
I'll second that.
Vice Mayor Croucher and Councilman Prophet. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Croucher?
Yay.
Mr. Prophet?
Yay.
Ms. Montgomery?
Yay.
Mr. Nichols?
Nay.
Mr. Rourke?
Yay.
Mayor Perry?
Abstain. All right. Go on to reports. Mr. Ziffel.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no reports.
Thank you, Mr. Ziffel. Mr. Barrister.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no reports.
Thank you, Mr. Barrister. Mr. Masisklis.
Hey, Mayor, 2 reports. One, each member of council should have in front of them a questionnaire from the auditor. So the state audit is being conducted in-house by the state, not by a contractee of the state. So they have a little bit more rigorous question or information gathering period. So all of those, if you could answer those by the end of tonight, and I'll scan them up, and I will reach out to Councilwoman Butts to have her answer as well. If we do not answer within a particular time frame, they will have a note on our audit for that. So that's been distributed to certain directors and council. Additionally, folks might have seen on their utility bills that the city is no longer offering the small red recycle toters up at the police station anymore. Rumpke is now offering 65 and 95 gallon recycle totes for free. You just have to reach out to Rumpke and they will drop it off. There is no rental on those. The 65 gallon ones, the size of a medium, wheeled garbage toter. It has the same footprint of those red ones, and then the 95 gallon ones are the same size as those big brown ones that they rent out. Reason being is they're trying to collect more recycled material, as well as keep our streets a little bit cleaner, so stuff gets blown out of those red totes very often. And our street sweeper and our street crews, it kind of clutters the way. So you can still get those small red bins from Rumpke if you ask. I'm sure there's still places around that provide those, but we're trying to get folks to move to those 65 and 95 gallon totes. And that is all from me.
Thank you, Mr. Masisklis. City Manager Nichols.
Thank you, Mayor Perry. The only note that I have is after staff has worked through ordinance language and any additional next steps, the ordinance as it relates to community mailboxes and parking will be on the next agenda.
Thank you very much. Excuse me, a resident reached out to me in the middle of the meeting asking about that ordinance, so thank you very much for getting that on next month. All right, we'll go to audience of council. Mr. Rourke.
Well, appreciate everybody showing up this evening. I enjoyed and I'm just talking as also a citizen, I thought the Monday night presentation was very helpful. I felt like they answered a lot of questions that people were completely freaking out on. Like the water, for example, instead of 50%, 3%. And it seems like nobody ever says, well, that's good news. It's like when they hear that it's not going to be what everybody says it's going to be, there's like nobody really appreciating the fact that you know, this is not as bad as we think. But anyway, to me, I think good news is good. I want to do a shout out to Mr. Marcos and Matthew. And what little time I've been in this council, I have seen these guys. They're so informative. I mean, they do their homework. They do their job well. I mean, I've never seen them not have an answer for something and also have information for what's coming. And it's sad that a lot of times, even at that meeting, it's like people question people that has a profession on all the things that's being done, like engineers. You know, they're like, they don't believe what an engineer says. And like that one guy said, hey, they back this up. I mean, if they give false information, they're going to be in trouble. But I think it was good news. I think to me, I know one lady, you know, she said it's kind of fearful for her, but I thought it was a very positive, informative situation. I really enjoyed it, and like I said. But I think that's all I got to say. God bless y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. Mr. Propp?
I'd like to start off with explaining my vote on Mr. Croucher's motion. We were elected by the people of Trenton to represent the residents of Trenton. We had plenty of discussions. We chose not to limit the residents of Trenton from being able to speak, or not to limit. We wanted to allow the residents of Trenton to speak. And with all due respect to neighboring communities, I would ask most of you, have you gone and spoken to the township trustees that you elected? Have you raised the concerns that you have with those who you elected? So that was the reason for my vote there. I wanted to move on to, we've been accused of lying and everything else under the sun up here, crimes and everything. Mr. Nichols, is anybody taking you up on that offer that if they catch you in a lie, you'll give them your paycheck?
There was one that tried, but
okay.
Turned out that he was trying to twist my words.
Okay. We had a resident that went up to Columbus to speak in favor of House Bill 646 about I think it was the day of a day or two after the last meeting that we had. He mentioned that tax abatements or incentives would minimize the benefits to the community or the surrounding schools. I believe Matthew's presentation on Monday proved that wrong. He stated that there were 2 roads in and out of Trenton. I want to know which 2 roads he was talking about. Was this north on Wayne Madison or south on Wayne Madison? Was this east on 73, west on 73? Was this southwest on Hamilton Trenton Road? Was this south on First Street? Like, was it north on North Miami, which turns into Elk Creek? Which one of those 2 ways are the only 2 ways in and out of Trenton? It was stated that there's a truck route that runs through a school zone. When you guys leave, please drive out here. That truck route is on First Street. The school zone is on Maple. So when you want to accuse us of lying up here, if you're going to go all the way to Columbus and present your case, at least maybe consider telling the truth. And then at the last council meeting, I brought up an AI-generated photo of people freezing in their house, and there was a comment, what AI-generated photo? The person who commented it was the one who made the photo. Right here it is. Imagine stepping outside into the biting cold, snow crunching underfoot, the air is sharp against your skin. The temperature hasn't risen above freezing in days. You go back inside, your home is dark. The power's out, no heat. It's awfully doom and gloom, but the photo does exist. Another cute AI-generated photo with Illuminati signs, ask no questions. We've literally asked people to ask questions time and time again. Another AI photo of a data center that's maybe 15, 20 feet away from a house. I don't believe any of the houses are going to be that close to our data center. Some sign with all these random numbers about tax abatements that just simply aren't true. One of my personal favorites, the Titanic, it says citizens. crashing into an iceberg that says Prologus, at least spell Prologus right, but whatever. Make a joke of a maritime disaster. Speaking of that, here's some ship captain that says no taxes are due. I don't believe that's the case either. Here's another AI-generated photo with a diesel fuel tank about 10 feet from a house that says that this is pretty much creating a bomb in our community. I mean, to me, that's the definition of fear-mongering. People have brought up that BlackRock and Vanguard are two investors in Prologis and that they're two evil companies. These evil companies also have stakes in Google, Visa, Walmart, Chase, Johnson & Johnson, Home Depot, Netflix. And I guarantee you the people that are saying these are evil companies also use those exact services. From my experience, if you're protesting something, usually you don't use the services of what it is you're protesting against. Data centers take a few years to construct, coming from ground to turning lights on, et cetera, the technology changes. With that being said, a lot of the data that you guys have presented is from previous generations. So you can't say that they're getting better, but then also compare ours to one that was built a decade ago. Here's another post. Ask any city official or council if they would want this in their neighborhood. I guarantee they will say no. Well, I believe there were 7 that said yes, and then I can't speak for other new council members, but I have minimal concerns with this, or better yet, no concerns. And I'm not going to give away everybody's address, but I know that Mayor Perry and Councilman Nichols, they live closer to the data center than I do. Well, they live closer to the data center than the majority of Trenton, and they're still in favor of it. I live pretty darn close myself. Here's a post about handing tax breaks to billion-dollar companies and why cities do it. If I need to get out my 8th grade civics textbook and give it to you, I'd be more than happy to. Pretty much saying that why aren't we talking about all the good things with this? I don't even know. It doesn't even make sense because I believe we've done an adequate job on that. Here's a post of Casey Putsch for Ohio going to Mount Orab and not having the chance to speak. It most likely is because he did not follow their rules where he has to register in advance.
Correct.
But it says any person to be recognized. Zach Zisner found this out when he came to Trenton. I don't know what you're talking about because he came up and spoke at that exact podium. So he didn't find out any. I don't know. It's hard to just justify this crap. Here's one post that I actually kind of would like to respond to. And it talks about the communication being clear, accessible, and transparent, and how the residents are being unfairly blamed. I wouldn't say that residents are being unfairly blamed, but when council was accused of not being transparent, that was an adequate response. Public meetings, videos online. I'll acknowledge before I started coming to meetings, I was not the most informed of what was going on up here. And that's on me. I'm not blaming them because I didn't come to the meetings. So I don't know why everybody else is doing that. With that, I'm done.
Thank you, Mr. Prophet. Mrs. Montgomery.
Well, I've had some interesting days these last few days. I feel like my brain is overloaded with advanced directives and end of life because that's what I do. And I wasn't there on Monday because I had a critical situation that I had to take care of in my job, sitting with people that are dying. I will say again that I am ever grateful that I live in America, that I'm ever grateful that I have a right to speak and say my mind pretty much. That's a freedom that I honor with everything in my heart. I honor the fact that I have the right to pray at a public meeting like I did tonight. That's a great honor to me. and it's a great honor for me to be a child of the Most High God. Confrontation is just never something that I like. Never have. Never have. I've always tried to live a peaceful life and be welcoming and considerate to people. I hope that that is what people think of me, but really it doesn't matter what people think of me. It's what I know in my heart and what I do for a living, and including this particular position. I take it extremely, extremely. It means a lot to do what I need to do. I am only one vote. I think I've said that to several people lately. And whether it's night or day or night, I have to do what I feel is right for the city and the residents. I'll always stand by that. Always. And I think that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mrs. Montgomery. Councilman Nichols.
First, I'd like to thank everybody for being here tonight. Even if we have different opinions, I'm glad you took your time to come out and be at our meeting. I'm thankful for the people that came out Monday night. I was appreciative of the people that were there, that they behaved better than I expected. I kind of had bad feelings about that meeting from when it was first planned. I was afraid it may turn out like when the congressman was here and there was some people from outside the community that just shouted him down to where he couldn't even answer any questions.
Terrible.
But that didn't happen Monday night. I was glad to see that there were actually people there that wanted to hear the presentation. Even though I'm sure some of them were there that didn't believe what was said, at least they behaved themselves. I appreciate that. The only other thing I have to say, and I wish one gentleman was still in the room to hear it, but somebody will relate to him, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But if anybody from this anti-data center group thinks that threatening my family online is going to change my mind, they're sadly mistaken.
Sad.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Nichols. Vice Mayor Crouch.
Councilman Nichols, thank you very much for saying that. I think every one of us is just sitting up here do not appreciate that. But I would like to say, first of all, thank you, Mrs. Montgomery, for the prayer tonight.
Thank you.
Appreciate you always leading us in prayer, along with you as well, Councilman Roark. I'd also like to say thank you to Chief Sebald, our fire chief. Today he's celebrating a birthday this week. Staj,
Well,
you
happy
celebrated a birthday as well.
Happy
I'd like to say
birthday to
thank you to you. I'd like to say thank you to the citizens of Trenton who showed up tonight and gave us their input at our council meeting. I would like to encourage all citizens of Trenton, if you have something to say and you want to come to council, please come to council meetings. We want to hear your input. If you live in the township, please go to your township trustees meetings. If you live in Westchester Township or Liberty Township, go to Liberty Township's trustee. I'm pretty sure those township trustees would love to hear from you as well. Madison Township, the same thing.
St. Clair.
Tomorrow at 7 o'clock, State Street Coffee with a Cop. I will be there. If anybody wants to come and talk to me, as well as Chief Card, more than welcome to talk with you. Other than that, Mayor, I wish everybody to have a great week and be safe.
Can I say something? I thank God that Calvin Woodry is here today. Hey, Calvin, thank you for being here.
I'd like to start off by saying happy birthday to the chief. I wish he was here so we could sing to him.
Yes, I'd sing to him right now.
Unfortunately, we don't get a song from Mrs. Montgomery. I'd also like to say thank you to everyone that showed up at the forum. and that I'm not going to say that everyone acted with decorum during it. I had a little bit of a fear that since it wasn't a public meeting and it was an informational session, that it would get a little out of control. And I want to thank the chamber for what they did. I want to thank Stas for organizing the whole thing from start to finish, getting the room, making sure everything was taken care of. And the Prologis reps actually said that that was one of the better forums that they had a chance to take part in. That there have been some that have went into just yelling and screaming and they walked off the stage because no one would listen. They would say a word and then all that would say is, "We don't believe you. We don't believe you." And no one did that. I know I heard some "we don't believe yous," but that's different than hearing it screamed at them every time. So I'd like to thank everybody for that. But after thanking everybody from that and sitting here during this meeting, and I wish a couple people were still in here today, I feel like I'm having my frog in hot water moment here. That we have the heat's been slowly going up and up and up. And I think this is about the time when I notice it's hot and jump out. So I'm going to say this. I realize we limited comments today. I'm not going to speak about that, but I'm going to say that I hope everybody from now on talks to each other in a respectful manner, that we don't have the back and forth that we had before, and that everyone in the room speaks with respect to the others. If there is a disagreement like there has been today, please do it in private aside from anyone else, or at least not during an official council meeting. But I don't want this to go into someone speaking and then another person yelling at them, and then it turns into a back and forth between two people. And I don't want this to turn into just a session where people just beat the other one down and then we just keep going. So from now on, absolutely go up to the podium and speak if you follow the rules that were adopted tonight. Speak in a respectful manner. Be mad. I mean, that's fine. That's part of it. But just please be respectful and be kind and realize that we might disagree on this issue. But there's going to be 100 other issues that we agree with each other on. And I don't want a disagreement in one issue to ruin good that could happen with the other 99 going forward, because there's so much animosity that we don't want to speak to each other anymore. So from now on, that's what I'm asking you. Please realize that while we disagree on one issue, there are a whole lot others that we can work together at to make the community better. And with that, I will entertain a motion that we adjourn tonight's proceedings.
So moved.
Second.
Vice Mayor Croucher and Councilman Rourke. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Croucher?
Yay.
Mr. Rourke?
Yay.
Ms. Montgomery?
Yay.
Mr. Prophet?
Yay.
Mr. Nichols?
Yay.
Mayor Perry?
Yay. We are adjourned at 8:54 p.m. Thank you, everyone, and have a good rest of the week.